We're going to get on with things and pretend that all is well. And welcome back to game number 3 in the grand finals of the ZeroEmpires Invitational. Up to the northwest of the map, in the blue, we have got Spring playing as the Slavs.
Yeah, and on the right half of the map over here, we've got Hallis Scholar also playing as the Slavs as the green player here. And this is going to be a very interesting match because not only are we playing on the map Migration, but this is also a Slavs mirror match, a new civilization to the Forgotten that we don't get to see too much of.
And cows. I thought I'd throw that in there because cows are brilliant. Yeah, I don't know why, but Hallis in the chat, if you page up, it says RIP build order. So that build order I was talking about, I don't know if it was related to food at all, or just the chance of not getting cows or something, but Hallis doesn't seem like he feels too confident with his build order plan here, which is rather strange.
Yeah, it seems like he's abandoned that idea. If I had to make a guess, and I'm probably wrong, but if I had to make a guess, he was maybe considering putting down like an insanely early dock, and maybe he didn't mean to put down 2 houses. I have no idea. Or maybe he just didn't mean to start gathering food, but maybe we'll see a more standard game from both players here, but you never know.
Yeah, so the reason why I find Migration so interesting, and the reason why it's played slightly differently to most water maps, is that the necessity to do a fast feudal and a really fast galley rush is pretty much non-existent. Now, the reason for that is simply because the players are so far apart. Now, usually they are on the opposite side of the map, and of course that is the case here, but not only that, the huge landmass in the center means that traveling to your opponent means going all the way around the edge, and it's such a long way to go. And if your opponent's docked on the opposite side of their island as well, yeah, it takes a long time to get your galleys over there, and oftentimes it's just not worth it. And instead, you end up seeing players spend a long time in the Dark Age making a ton of fishing ships, and then they will do a pretty much fast castle from that and go straight ahead into war galley production instead of making galleys in the feudal age.
Yeah, that's probably what we're going to see from both players here. Now, the Slavs are an interesting civ for those of you who are not aware. They don't have too many, I guess, really substantial early game bonuses, but their villagers do harvest from farms a little bit more efficiently, so that makes farms a teeny bit more valuable. But I don't think we'll be seeing too many farms from both players, considering that they've got the dock and the fishing ships. But there's one part of the Slavs.
Yeah, I quite like the Slavs. They're definitely a real powerhouse, and I kind of like to compare the Slavs to being a little bit of a cross between the Teutons and the Celts. They are really a very strong late game civilization, but they are slow and they are sluggish. I mean, their units generally just slow and sluggish, They're kind of like the Teutonic Knights, as their Boyar, although it's on a horse, is very similar to the Teutonic Knight, other than its speed, I guess.
Agreed, agreed. What would you say your favorite civilization? What is your favorite new civilization from the Forgotten?
I'm always calling them the new civilizations. I guess in terms of like how old Age of Empires is, they are new, but they've been out for like a year now or more, and it's like they're still new, guys. I don't know. I want to say the Italians. But
okay.
I don't know if that's because they just have a really nice architecture set, or if I actually like the civilization. They are really nice, looking. But no, I think the Magyars are probably my favorite, simply because of that Arbalest Paladin combination, and also just their incredibly good light cavalry and late game trash capabilities.
Agreed. Have you noticed that? Looks like Hallis Scholar actually has a solid 2-pop lead over Spring right now. It's very interesting.
That's the early dock for you there. Putting that dock up, getting those 2 fishing ships out incredibly quickly in comparison. And that's kind of a big deal, actually, because that little food boost may make quite a big difference. Now, the real key thing here as well, we've not really talked about too much. I mentioned it at the start, is the cows. Now, the cows have 150 food rather than 100. So it means you're getting a bunch more food for free at the start of the game. And that could be why Spring has delayed his dock slightly. Because obviously that free food source, it's almost too irresistible to miss. But to be honest with you, Spring's build is looking a bit odd as well. He's taking berries at the moment, which is almost unheard of in Migration until the feudal age.
Yeah, it is very, very interesting to see that, the early berries. He also has lured his deer a lot slower than Hal. Hal started the game off with that, whereas Spring has delayed it. One thing that is kind of interesting to note is I kind of like Hallis Scholar's map just a little bit better since his island is, you know, it has more water around it, therefore he has access to a little bit more fish. So
yeah, for sure.
You see the second dock coming out from him right now, whereas Spring is only on one still.
Yeah, Hallis definitely following the kind of the metagame for migration. Now, it's not uncommon to see 3 docks in the Dark Age even on this map, and just a absolute shed ton of fishing ships. So it seems like Hallis is definitely going down that route, and you will be able to see by his score compared to Spring, that he will start really climbing ahead because he has 3 production buildings running at the moment compared to Spring's 2 for the time being. And as we said before as well, Spring was very slow to get that dock up in comparison to Hallis here. So I'm going to be very interested to see what Spring's strategy is. It's certainly nothing normal because he's going up to feudal already. And this could be like, you know, danger, danger, danger for Hallis because he's going to be Dark Age for some time here.
Yeah, it looks like I'm assuming this is going to be a galley rush here from Spring, which is, as you mentioned, you know, not super common on migration. He's got the 3 villagers on gold right now, so he's up to something crazy, and his feudal age is going to be so much faster than Hal. We'll see if Hal gets caught off guard here, but if this is an early forward or this is a galley rush, then that's going to be really bad news to Hal since most of his economy is indeed on the water right now.
It is, exactly, and for Spring at the moment as well, he's still only got 3 fishing ships. Now, Hallis is going to be, you know, shitting himself at the moment, let's be honest. Hallis is just still in the Dark Age, he's just clicking up to feudal now, and that's a lot of fishing ships that could be at risk. Now, I think he should be okay, and the reason I say that is simply because of the size of this map. Now, Spring hasn't got his first galley out yet, it's on 50%. And it's going to take him a while to get over to where Hallis is. I mean, he doesn't know where Hallis is. He's not scouted. If you have a look at his dock, you can see where he set the gather point. And if we have a look, click on the gather point, you can see it's here. Now, if we watch where that is, that's on the wrong side of Hallis's base, or the wrong side of his island. Hallis's ships are on the opposite side. So it could be the case that Hallis gets up to feudal and starts getting galleys out before Spring makes it over there. And that is a risk that Spring is taking. We'll see whether it pays off.
Yeah, that is very observant to check the gather points. Hallis Scholar here is going to put down a 4th dock, so that gives him a 1 dock advantage over Spring. And, you know, here come the galleys, but Hallis Scholar he does have time to react to this. He's not up to the feudal age quite yet, but he might actually be able to defend this. And it's really important that he does, otherwise he's going to lose all these fishing ships, and he's going to be in big, big trouble.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of a lag spike from Spring at the moment. That red ball of death there by his name says that he is the lagger. Hopefully this game will not drop, but if it does drop, then we can of course restore very quickly. It looks like it's frozen in place, so Spring may have just dropped temporarily, which could very well be... Yes, okay. So we're going to have to save exit, and we will restore the game.